I don't know what that's all about, but we're glad that you joined us today. I'm going to try to make this somewhat of a discussion. The About a couple of things. So I'm not going to actually be able to answer you typing, but I will be answering you visually on here the best that I can, and we'll see what we can do. So we'd like to welcome you, Kathy and Claire. I can't see who else is here unless you say hello, and so we want to encourage you to do that. We'll make sure that this video goes up a little bit later, so it'll be on YouTube, also on Facebook, and that sort of thing. So we'll give it a little bit of a chance to gain a little bit more folks who are watching, and so we will do that in just a moment. Hopefully everybody got the text, got emails, and that sort of thing. I just received a phone call about a minute before this, so I just said, well, I got to go. So there's no telling whether my phone's going to ring or what's going to happen. We're going to be on here for a little bit, as long as we can stand being on here with one another. And I hope everybody is doing well. Anybody have anyone? Hello, Vince. Anybody? I hope everybody's well. I hope there is no one that has been impacted by this themselves, but I'm sure there are folks who are out there and who have family members that have been impacted. I know that it's still very tough out there, but we are moving in a direction now where we're not just going to talk about coronavirus, but we're going to talk about where we're going in the future. We're going to be doing this for a little while, it looks like. We saw something this morning that came across from the governor that said that we in South Florida may actually be experiencing this sort of shutdown, lockdown in South Florida. Hate to tell you this, through mid-May. We're trying to confirm that right now, but nonetheless, we're going to just keep responding and doing our thing. Make sure, and I think there's a place, if somebody wants to tell us in the chat, there should be a place on here. In fact, I'm looking right now. There should be an arrow for you to share this. In fact, it should be at the bottom. It's at the bottom of my screen. There's a little arrow and somewhere, and if you click on it, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all those things will come up, and you can literally post this right now to your Facebook page that we're live at Community Bible Church. And I would ask you to do that so folks can connect with us here, and they'll continue to connect with us on Facebook. Hello, Nancy. I hope all is well with you, and glad that all of you are on here with us, and I appreciate it so much. We're going to just start, and I just want to talk with you for a little bit about a couple of things. We've had our first pastor arrested for violating the order when up in Tampa, Florida, somewhere around Tampa, Florida. The guy's been a controversial televangelist anyway. He decided that he was going to meet no matter what, and didn't even practice the social distancing. And so consequently, and one of the things he said was, his name is Rodney Howard-Browne. One of the things that Rodney Howard-Browne said was basically, God was bigger than this kind of thing. And I'm paraphrasing. And so they weren't going to get coronavirus and all of that. And I have to tell you that I saw this guy, and if you don't know who he is, you have to look him up on Google, because he's already controversial. He had this thing it's been more than a few years ago, where he was known, I believe, as something like the laughing evangelist, where he was going around, popping people in the head, slaying them in the spirit, and they were falling on the ground, literally laughing. So he would be preaching and walking around his auditorium, and people were laying on the ground laughing hysterically, and it was allegedly the Holy Spirit that had come on this. So that's where this guy's mindset is already. At any rate, he had to turn himself in for violating this. He's already back out of jail. And of course, the whole story is he's going to be arrested for Jesus. It got him a little bit of publicity. And so now, people are talking about him once again. Now, and I've heard there are some pastors that are out there that are saying that God is bigger than the coronavirus, and he is. And I agree with all of that. But here's what I want these folks that also say that to do, that are minimizing this. What I'd like for you to do is, if the train is still running, And I'm being sarcastic, and that's the logic here, folks. The logic is that God has also given us common sense. We could pray, we could do all of that, and we need to be praying. We need to be praying for one another. We need to be praying for our community. We need to be praying for our leaders. We need to be praying for those who are impacted by this, for those who are going to be impacted by this, and pray that there are people that are smart enough to follow some of these guidelines so that they're not going to get impacted by this. And apparently it looks like that we're getting some freezing. Me freezing in place is a scary, scary proposition. I'm not seeing it on here. Everyone else, let us know if you're getting anything like that. So anyway, I'm being facetious. Listen, don't anybody, somebody can now take a clip and say, Bob Sands from Community Bible Church on YouTube said to go out and stand in front of a train and let it hit you and pray to God. That's context. The context is that it's the same thing that you're doing if you put yourself and others at risk. One of the things that we're doing is we've just pivoted. We have been doing things online for some time. We've been pushing. The church doesn't have to meet together to be together. The church can meet together, but the church can be together in a meeting on all of these different platforms. And never has it been easier for us to be able to get out our message. A friend of mine, I'm not sure whether he's watching right now because he hasn't said hello, but I know him from the gym, and he texted me. We were texting the other morning when I was walking, and he said he made a crack. He said, "Are you live streaming your services?" I said, "I'm live streaming, the messages on Sunday morning. We're doing some other things." And he says, "Well, Osteen had 4 million people. Maybe you'll get there." And it cracked me up because he's right. A lot of the megachurch pastors who have had these platforms already are clicking a button and they're getting hundreds of thousands of folks who are doing this. But this is a new opportunity, as I said, for us. But one of the things I don't want us to forget about is to continue to pray. And there's been a lot of discussions, especially folks who maybe have grown up in different traditions, and they're like, "Well, how do I pray? What do I do? Is there a formula for prayer?" And obviously you can follow the Lord's Prayer, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And what I would suggest, if you're gonna go through that, you could follow that formula, or you could follow what's called the ACTS formula, ACTS. And I've talked to a lot of folks before about this. So let me give you what the ACTS stands for. A is for adoration. Adoration is you're simply praising God about different things that he's done, praising him for creating the universe, praising him for various different things, giving him praise, telling him how much you appreciate him and what he's done. The C in Acts is confession. So it may be confession. The old story of that it's good for the confession is good for the soul is a true thing. Now I did see, by the way, I'm watching you guys, so I'm going to, just like we're having a normal conversation, I'm looking, it froze, I'm going to move the arrow forward, it picked it back up again. Claire's getting the freezing also. Not sure what's going on. We are on our normal signal here. It may just be now that there's so much bandwidth that is being used by people who are at home now that it's just causing some issues. So hopefully we'll be able to not freeze in the recording and you'll see this. So anyway, A is for adoration. Confession is good for the soul, but you got to be careful who you confess to. But confessing your sins to God is simply me agreeing with God about what he says about what I've done. And sometimes just confession, anger, confessing thoughts. I've been dealing with a little bit of anger, and I had to be careful not expressing it online at some of people that I really have had a great amount of respect for over the years, and they're going to go nameless. But I mean, guys that are out there in ministry that have done some really good things, and some of you that are on my personal Facebook may have seen the post. I had to say something, but I'm watching them try to profit. And I'm not talking about PRO PHET, I'm talking to PROFIT on this coronavirus thing by telling us how to handle the crisis. And they don't know any more about it than we do because they've never been through it either. So I've had a little bit of anger. So I've had to talk to God about that. So confession is just saying, God, I've been angry about this, or, I'm dealing with that, or this person ticked me off. And it's confessing those things. The T is what we call thanksgiving. So you got adoration, confession, thanksgiving. So in fact, one of the things that I do, and this is not the journal that I use, this is my daily time thing, but I have a journal that I write in, and thankful that thankful that I still have my mom who's 88 years old. Thankful that there's so many different things that I myself could be thankful for. And so I can find at least 3 things to be thankful for. So there's adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and then supplication. Supplication is basically asking. We often go to God first to ask him, but we ought to make that last, because once we do these other things, we're kind of bringing ourselves in line with what he wants and recognizing who he is. And so I think that's really important. And so during this time, if you're looking to pray, just write that little kind of formula down, put a little bullet point by it if you have to, and then talk to God about it. It's really that simple. Don't put a time frame down. Don't do any of that. And think about who you need to pray for. Sometimes I follow a day of the week formula that I learned from someone else. And Friday, maybe it's family issues. Saturday, for those that I'm praying for that maybe don't know the Lord yet, and which you could call sinners if you want, because we all are. And Sunday, I may pray for other saints, other Christians who are out there and who are, who I need to pray for. So these are some things that are just guidelines that will help you to pray during this. And we're going to talk about other things that we can do. We're in this for the long haul, definitely online. So we're still responding and setting up and trying to do things and putting the schedule together that I promised to you. And we're trying to figure out what's the best way to come to you all. Right now, we think it's YouTube. I got an interesting note from Facebook a little while ago, basically trying to make it easier for churches to set up online. And so I would encourage you with that. But for now, we're going to do our best to continue to abide by the law of the cities, the municipalities, the state and federal law to encourage people during this difficult time. I have to. I also want to say that we were looking at what we may be able to do on Easter Sunday. Was there a way to meet in cars? Was there a way to get together? And I have to tell you that I'm looking at it, and I don't think that it's worth it for us to try to do that right now. Also, the city of Dania Beach has dropped the guidelines from 10 to no more than 5 people. So even if I have meetings here on the patio at the church, which I have been doing occasionally, we're practicing social distancing, doing everything that we can to try to keep this from spreading. And there is so much news out there. Stay tuned and watch it. Do your best to stay connected, but don't violate the law. The laws are out there for a reason right now. We're not in a period of civil unrest and civil disobedience. They're not trampling on our rights as of yet. And so we want to do our best to cooperate and to see what we can do to help to curb this, to help to do what we need to do on our part. I will tell you that we will be together again soon in this building and on this property, but we don't have to be together here to meet together. That's how I guess we need to say that. We can meet together all different ways. And so for right now, I'm thankful that, by the way, you realize how much I touch my face when I'm on here. I'm more cognizant of it than ever before now. So anyway, but we will be back here together in this place, but we can meet together in so many different ways over these next coming weeks and months. Tomorrow night on Wednesday, which is Wednesday, April the 1st, believe it or not, April the 1st, we are going to have a Facebook Live at 7:30. We used to do a live on Facebook called 30 at 7:30 every Wednesday night. And I'll let you know if we'll do a Zoom call immediately to stay together with you. Does anybody Does anybody have any questions, any comments? I know we may be lagging behind a little bit. I see that you all are somewhat active in the chat, but does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask about this or about how we're tackling this, or any comments, any suggestions, anything like that? I was going to actually try to bring you all on live, but we don't have the ability to do that on YouTube as of yet. There was no announcement about yesterday. We made the announcement about tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about yesterday. Hello, Niles. Good to see you. And who said you would make phone calls? We're still assembling lists, doing all of that. Please be patient. Again, we've got things happening so quickly, and we're still dealing with preschool parents and trying to be available to them. They're actually coming through here and getting work for their children. This week are some of our teachers. We have teachers in our congregation, and it's interesting because they're having to deal with all of the new online stuff themselves. So please pray for them. So is there any questions, any comments? I'm looking right now to see if anybody has anything. So, by the way, I guess the bottom line is that I'm not going to, I'm fighting the freezing. I may have to, okay, what I talked about tomorrow evening, Wednesday, I'm going to go live on Facebook at 7:30. We used to do that anyway, so I'll be live at 7:30 tomorrow on Facebook. Additionally, by the way, I'm not sick. This is just, I don't know what's going on, but we'll be live tomorrow at 7:30, possibly doing a Zoom call, but I won't announce any of that until tomorrow, and then trying to get this schedule together. And as I said, we're just running behind, trying to keep up with everything right now. In fact, after I get off this call at 5 o'clock, I'll be off before this, but at 5 o'clock, I have a call with some of the staff. The guy, when I finally got a hold of him, he says, Bob, I can work you in at 4 today. I said, can't be on at 4. I got to be on live. He says 4:30. I said, not sure whether I'll be done at 4:30. Let's do 5. And I'll just cut it short on YouTube. And he said, we have people signing up for our platform every 30 minutes. They have churches signing up. So he's telling me that if we go with them, that we will be set up by this weekend. So anyway, we'll let you know about all of that. And thank you to all of you who have been concerned about what's happening here and what we're going to be doing. I'm here at the church about every day. Obviously, not taking a lot of visitors or whatnot. I'm meeting with limited people as I can. We meet out on the patio. It's a bring your own coffee, bring your own whatever. We're not touching. We're doing social distancing. Yes, if you'd like, you can drop them off. Shoot me an email and let me know, because I'll make sure someone's here, because if you drop it off, it'll disappear right now. So that would be great. And then if anybody has a need for it, we will distribute it from here. That's very kind of you. Send me an email. I'm sure you sent me an email already. Did you, Kathy, just answer me yes or no. I had an email from you, correct? Let me know, because if I did, I have your email address. And so let me know, Kathy. I know we may be a little bit behind on this. If I have okay, yes. All right. So I'm going to email you a phone number to contact me at, and then we can set up the time, Kathy, for you to, so I'll email you that phone number, and then you can contact me. We'll set it up. I really appreciate that. I am, seriously believe that coming out of this, we're probably going to have to set up a food pantry and some other things. Again, not pushing the panic button, but I do think we're going to be in the effects of this long term. And again, I am grateful to our church for the financial support and everything else, because with the buildings paid off and all of that, and not expanding too quickly, we are in a decent position to survive. We may not thrive, but we're going to survive this so that we can continue to minister in this community. And for me, I am grateful because I know there's going to be churches, unfortunately, that are going to close, people that are going to be looking for a home, and we're going to see what we can do to help out even in some of those areas. There are so many that are going to need help when all of this is said and done. And even in the midst of this, already talking to people that are losing jobs and things of that nature. And so we're going to continue to hang on to hope. As I've been saying, we're going to continue to do this together. We're going to continue to pray together and do all of this. Yes, you can still, thank you, Elena, for asking. You can still mail checks to the church. A lot of people don't even know what the address of the church is. 4650 Southwest 30th Avenue. And 1-2. So yes, thank you for asking, Elena. And yes, people are doing that. And again, let me hasten to say something here. Y'all know I don't normally ask for money. I'm not asking for money now. Obviously, those of you that are in a position to help, I appreciate that. Those of you that aren't, you, as always, are welcome. God has always taken care of us. He's taken care of us through the generosity, obviously, of the people of the church who are capable of doing. People that she had been with in a church, and she said, the people that were in this church, she said, they will pay the church their tithe before they will pay their light bill. And I was like, yeah, no, I'd rather them keep the lights on. You know, I think God's going to take care of us, and they'll do what they have to do later. And I appreciate that kind of faithfulness, but you also have to take care of your family and of the bills that you have. And so we get that too. We're all just kind of, you know, working together through this right now. But thank you for asking about that. And I think that there will be some opportunity to do a lot of these things. So, but yeah, as far as dropping stuff off, let us know and set it up so we make sure somebody is here right now, because somebody's not always here. And, you know, it still, we're going to continue to do some of these. But let me, you know what, let me ask you all one more question. How many of you that are on here watching this are also on Facebook? Facebook is a little easier to stream from, but I'm concerned that not everybody has Facebook. Now, the myth is that you need a Facebook account to watch Facebook, and you don't. So I'm just wondering if this is a YouTube thing, if it's something on my end, because I'm literally getting no interference on this end. Okay, so people are on Facebook. Okay, anybody else? Okay, but you've got me on Facebook, but you're actually seeing this on YouTube right now. You must have clicked the link on Facebook. So, but you're on Facebook Live instead of doing it on YouTube Live. We're going to do that tomorrow night, and I'm going to compare the results and see what happens with that, because you can't post that link anywhere else. And I think we're going to do that. All right. So listen to me tomorrow night, and I'll put something out. Facebook, 7:30 p.m. We'll do a Facebook Live. I'll do a little kind of whatever. We'll talk and do some Facebook Live. And I think I could pull people in on Facebook so we could actually do like a discussion. If we could do that, that'll be great. So then somebody wants to come on and ask a question, and I can kind of interview them, and we can go back and forth. Maybe there's a question about God, the Bible, religion, the church, crisis, prayer, anything like that. I'd love to be able to have that kind of an interaction. That's one of my favorite ways to do what we're doing. And I think it's probably one of the best ways for you all right now, because it helps me know what the need is right on the spot. And so I think that would be good. It also puts me in touch with what you all are dealing with. So, all right. I appreciate you spending 27 minutes with me today. And thank you for being here. We're going to post this in a little bit, and make sure you announce to your friends. We'll have it up on Facebook, 7:30 tomorrow evening. I'll let you know if we're going to do anything else from there. But again, everybody hang in there. God bless you. We're going to be here Palm Sunday, 10:30. I'll be live from Community Bible Church. We're still trying to do something clever with Easter. If anybody has any ideas, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there and try to figure out a way that we can plan a creative Easter service online. In fact, maybe we'll do a Zoom call about that. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you all so much. Love you all and miss seeing you in person, but I'm so glad we could see one another on here, and we will talk with you soon. God bless. Have a great day.